Hey YouTube, this is Jaden from Team Shadowstrike coming at you with another video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about, there are some cards that I believe that they came out at the wrong time, or they came out and they were around for so little of a time before the next set came out that they never really got a chance. So it seems like, I don't know, that some of these cards, they felt like either they just fall under the category that they were not good enough to match what else came in the set that they came in, or, so they got forgotten, or they just never had a chance because there was something already better than what it was when it came out, and it came out at the wrong time for it to be successful. And I have just some cards here that I've pulled out of my collection, and I think all of these, they could have came out at a better time. So anyway, I'm going to just go ahead and get straight into this. Unfortunately, I had all of these cards except one, and that is, I think, the first one I'm going to talk about, and I'll be interested to see if my teammate Christian, who's a D-Police player, agrees with me, because the first card set I want to talk about is the Zeal series. I think the Zeal series is a very good budget if you want to play Dimensional Police, because they're really not that expensive and they have pretty good effects. But the problem is, Dimensional Police came out in set 4, and the first thing that we saw for Dimensional Police was this. It was the Storm, or the Enigman build, and this was the best build that they could produce at the time. I mean, you could use Storm, and then you could use 4 Dayusha, and that was pretty much the best version of the deck that you could build at the time. Now, but the problem was, okay, set 4 came out, set 6 was already out. We got set 5, and then we got set 7, and set 7 was already out, and then set 8 is when I believe the Zeal stuff came out. There was like this huge gap, but the problem was when set 8 had finally come out, keep in mind the End was out, Majesty was out, Phantom Blaster Overlord was out, Aqua Force was coming out. The problem was, the Zeal stuff never really, in my opinion, they didn't really have a chance to get popular because you came out in set 8. Set 8 is Aqua Force. It has Maelstrom on the pack, okay? Half of Season 2 is completely dedicated to Aqua Force. This clan was going to be popular. The only clan I liked about the only thing I like about D-Police is Dayusha. I mean, Storm was cool, but my favorite part of D-Police is Dayusha. And Zeal to me just kind of looked kind of creepy, but I can understand why players like my friend Christian likes it because he's a heavily control-based player in card games. But in my opinion, the Zeal deck never got a fair chance just because there was nothing else, it came out in Aqua Force. It should have came out in like set maybe 7 or maybe set 5, I dare say. But the problem is, if it came out in set 5, it wouldn't even had a snowball's chance, because set 5, the only thing people cared about was the End, Majesty, and Phantom Blast Overlord. It was the first 3 cross rides ever. But if I had to guess, I would say put it in set 7. We got set 7, I believe, before set 4. I really don't remember. But in my opinion, the Zeal deck didn't really have a chance because it came out in set 8. The next card I want to talk about is Conviction Dragon, Chrome Jailer Dragon. It came out in set 9. Now, set 9 was the last set of basically the previous area that we were in Vanguard. This card was one of the first cards that popped into my head when I thought about doing this video. Chrome Jailer Dragon came out way too late, because by the time he came out, there were a lot of cross rides in the game. You had Majesty, which I consider a cross ride. You had the End. You had Phantom Blaster Overlord. You had the Blood. You had Platina Azel. You had Glory Maelstrom. Chrome Jailer cannot do well against cross rides. It's just a thing. He's a 10k Vanguard. 10k Vanguards have a problem against cross rides. This card, in my opinion, should have came out in set 8. I think it would have had a much better shot of getting its time to be good, because the problem was my friend Cody tried to build this with Spectral Duke Dragon. Spectral Duke you can get away with because he can sit at 11k. 11k Vanguards have a lot better opportunity to take on a cross ride than 10k Vanguards do, but the problem is This card came out at a time when cross rides were the thing, and like they are today, you can't play this right now and go against cross rides and expect to win consistently. I think this card should have came out in set 8. I dare say set 7 with the Pelennor stuff. I think then this card would have been a lot more popular, and it may have actually done something in the meta. But as it is now, this card is not doing much because it's just way past its time. And I feel sorry because I love Chrome Jailer Dragon. I love the artwork, and the name's badass. The next cards I want to talk about is King of Dipterria Beazlebub and Mistress Hurricane. These were both new boss monsters that came out in set 5 for the Dark Irregular and the Pale Moon clan. Now, there's only one problem. Set 5. Majesty. The End. Phantom Blaster Overlord. That's it. That's all I got to say. These two cards didn't have a chance. I realize you gotta have filler. But these cards, if you wanted them to sell, you put them in the wrong set. I think this guy's actually not bad. I mean, Counterblast 2, if you have 6 or more in the soul and your 2 front rear guards gain plus 3k. That's not bad. And if you have 6 in the soul, 8 in the soul or more, which is not hard to do in a Dark Irregulars deck, he goes to 11k. So I think this card would have been really, really good for Dark Irregulars if it would have came out maybe in set 7 along with Dark Lord of Abyss, dare I say, maybe in set 6, because then this card would have actually been able to be useful, because every other card that Dark Irregular had access to was Amon, Still Vampire, and it just, they didn't have access to an 11k. This was, and I think it would have been a lot better for the deck if it wouldn't have came out in set 5. So this card, if it would have came out in set 6 or 7, it might have seen a little more play. And this card, I have never seen anyone play this against me in a game of Vanguard. And it's actually not the best card Pale Moon has. I mean, I think right now if you were going to build a Pale Moon deck, Lukier is your best option. But, again, this card never had a chance because it came out, again, in set 5. It should have came out in set 6 or 5. I mean, set 6 or 7. Maybe or dare I say, they should have just went ahead and stuck these in set 3 when Pale Moon and Dark Irregular were introduced. Maybe then the cards would have been more popular. The next card I want to talk about is Knight of Fury Agravain. This card's main problem is it came out in set 6. I mean, right, set 6? Yeah, set 6. You know what else came out in set 6? Blonde Ezel. There's no way in hell this thing can compete with Ezel. Ezel is one of the best cards and is the best 10k Vanguard there ever will be, guys, because he can easily get up to 20k every time he attacks. This card never stood a chance with Ezel. This card should not even exist, in my opinion, because there are much better options as a backup Vanguard for Ezel besides this. This card, in my opinion, is terrible. The reason so many people will look at it and go, oh, wow, what's that card? What clan is it from? Oh, Gold Paladin. And the reason they say that is because Gold Paladin belongs to Ezel, guys. As of right now, Gold Paladin belongs to Ezel and Platina Azel. And then when all the Liberators start coming out here in America, then they'll belong to the Liberators. But for right now, if you were going to talk about the main pillars of Gold Paladin, Platina Azel and Ezel would be up there. And then you'd have your Liberators. This card's not even on the D level, guys. This card never had a chance. Another card I want to talk about is a card that came out in set 3 along when Dark Irregulars were introduced, and that was Edelrose. Edelrose, in my opinion, it's a Gancelot clone. You can reveal it to your opponent, put it back in the deck, and add Werewolf Seeker to your hand. It does exactly what Gancelot does with Werewolf Seeker in the soul, as Gancelot does with Blaster Blade in the soul. If Werewolf Seeker's in the soul, you counterblast 2, she gains +5 and a crit. And you can use the ability more than once, if you so choose. The problem with this is the other 2 grade 3s that came out for Dark Irregulars in the set was Demon of War, Marquis Amon, I can't remember his full name, Amon and Still Vampire. Well, if you were going to rank those, Amon would get first, Vampire would get second, and this would get third. So the problem with this card was it came out when no one really cared about it. I mean, you saw a couple of people maining it just to main it and maybe to get Werewolf Seeker to their hand, but this right here, she never stood a chance with Amon and Vampire. General Seafried. This came out in set 2 for Spike Brothers, back when Spike Brothers in that set barely had anything going for him. When that extra booster came out that had Spectral Duke, it also had some Spike Brothers stuff in it. The only problem is the sets came out really close to each other here in America, so General Seafried never got a free run because, okay, what's better, this or Dudley Emperor? I mean, it's a pretty clear-cut decision. Dudley Emperor, duh. So, sorry, Seafried. Captain Night Mist for Grand Blue. This card was made pretty big on the show. I mean, they really tried to bluff this card up. They tried to make it look really good. The only problem is it is an 8K. 8K grade 2s are not that great. I think if they would have took this power here and they would have put it to 9, making him a 12K if you have another copy of Night Mist in the Soul or in the drop zone, I think he would have been a lot better. This card really, in my opinion, it never had a chance. Because Grand Blue, you know, they were already an underdog clan when they very first came out. And especially today, they don't, excuse me guys, I've had this itch on my back. This card never had a chance because Grand Blue, when it first came out, it may have been a better clan, but nowadays when there's cross rides out and Grand Blue hasn't got any support in forever, they don't have time to deal with cards like this, so it's kind of a forgotten card, unless, you know, you've watched the anime. And the final card I'm going to talk about is just this entire clan. Guys, I have looked ahead all the way to set 13. This clan isn't getting any more support. Let's just try and remember this was a thing, okay? Guys, before Neonector came out, there was a lot of hype for it. That it was going to be a really good clan, it was going to be something new, you know, because the only other green clans that there were your Great Nature and your Mega Colony. Well, between Great Nature and Mega Colony, I would say Great Nature, then Mega Colony, and then this came out, and then it's like, I mean, this clan, it was like really popular for like 2 weeks when it came out in set 5, but again, it came out in set 5. It was with Majesty in the end and Phantom Blaster Overlord. The only reason that set was in existence was because we got the end, we got Overlord, and we got Majesty. Neonector didn't have a chance becoming popular in that set. What they should have done was just released all the Neonector stuff in the one set that they did when the Arboros Dragon came out. That would have made it much more popular. Or maybe it would have had a chance. But again, Arboros came out in the set 8, which was Aquaforce. So maybe what you should have done is just put all the Neonector and the Aquaforce stuff in set 8, and then you have a little minor things for splitting around here and there. You know, so you have you know, about 40% of it being Aquaforce, 40% of it being Neonector, and then the other 20% you could have a Pale Moon card there, a Narukami there, and a Royal Paladin there. But Neonector never ever had a chance in hell being in set 5. So anyway, guys, these are just a couple of cards, like I told you, that I felt never, you know, got their fair sharing. You know, these are just, you know, they never got their, they never had their time. They never were, you know, they never got their chance to shine. And out of all the cards I've shown you, the number one card that I think I stand by the most is by far this. If this is Chrome Jailer. I think if Chrome Jailer really did come out with the Pelennor stuff, this card would have been amazing. But, you know, and then I also say the Zeal stuff is a damn close for the first 2. You know, all these cards I think would have done so much better if they just would have came out in previous sets, or they came out in a set more down the road when they would have been more viable because they were being released with more of their stuff. That's just my opinion. Feel free to share in the comment section below what you think with what I said about some of these cards. Did you like what I said? Do you agree with any of it that I said, that maybe a card would have been more popular if it would have came out earlier than it did? So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video for me, and please put in the comment section below some feedback for me. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you later.